I'm Nick Baldwin, your regional tech director, and we have a guest on the line today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Karissa Zimmer. She and her husband, Trent, run the Zimmer team or group. What is it?
Zold Real Estate.
Zold. It's the Zold Real Estate Group.
Yeah.
Because their last name is Zimmers. Get it? See, it works. And the reason why I have Karissa on today is because Karissa and Trent are 100% in on Command. They do about 80 units. Last year, they did about 80 transactions for about 32 million in volume, and it's just the two of them. And they've been 100% in on Command for a while now, not using any other platform. So I want to talk to her for you guys to kind of bust through any myths that some of your agents may have about Command and whether it works or whether it doesn't and all of that stuff. So let's just jump right in, Karissa. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, so how long have you guys been using Command and what made you decide to start using it?
Oh gosh, Trent is my husband, and he signed up for the lab like when it first came out, and all you could do was add a contact. So I can't remember what year that was. Nick, you probably do.
Was that like 2019 maybe?
It would have been, yeah, I was going to say late 2018, probably early 2019. Mm-hmm. And so the one thing that we started talking about the shifts in those years pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, which was interesting. But we were drawn to it because the only expense we wanted with a CRM was if there was revenue, right? Like we didn't want this expense. The only expense in our business we wanted was if we had revenue. So Command was free. We're like, this is great. So we transferred everything over to Google Sheets temporarily and then put everything into Command. So we've been in it literally since the beginning.
And if anybody knows, it was a bumpy ride, right, Karissa, for a little while. How did you guys get around those bumps in the road, and why did you continue to keep using it?
Good question. Some things were a bit frustrating, but that's technology in general, right? You think about your first iPhone, your first what was the thing that you listen to music on again?
An iPod?
Yeah, but what
MP3
was the
player?
one? Yeah, it's like, think about the infancy stages of that and what it is now. And so we knew that this was going to be worth it. And we just had to keep going because we trusted the leadership team that was at the front of this. And we just stuck through it. I mean, it was difficult, but what isn't? There's something wrong with everything. In my previous industry, I was in Salesforce, and that would crash occasionally, or some big hiccup would happen within the CRM system. It happens everywhere.
So what features in Command do you guys spend most of your time in?
So in this market specifically, we capture about 10% of our database. So we are right on with where we should be. We're a sphere-based business. And so we know we have to go wide with our database in this market because going deep isn't going to get us the results that we need as far as unit count. So to increase that, we need to add people to our database and really touch on the communication part. We need to double down and do twice of what we have been doing. So something that we use really heavily within Command is the tag feature. We tag everything. So within a contact, something that we just started this year is we started a city ambassador program. So everyone in our database, we have selected one past client that we believe could be that city ambassador for the specific city that they live in. And we've tagged them with the city. Now we've also tagged everyone else who lives in that city. And the reason we do that is because if we have a buyer looking to live in that city, we can easily pull a list of clients that live in that city, and we can talk to the city ambassador of like, hey, who do you know? Who should we be talking to? Or better yet, if someone's moving to Minnesota and is unfamiliar with the community, we can play matchmaker and connect them with that individual, and they can have conversations that we can't. So our tags have helped us create sneezers in our business, people that cheer us on, that sneeze Zold, right? They tell everyone about us. And the tag feature also helps us with like people that have kids. Our avatar client is a young couple with young children. So if we have events that are happening within our community or within Minneapolis and we want to share, we are able to easily pull a list of everyone in our database that fits that profile and make sure that they're aware of that. So we use tags heavily, and then checklist is something we use throughout the transaction really, really heavily. So we have our set standard checklist that I have created, our master buyer one and our master listing one. And then within the checklist now, you can actually add tasks as you're going about the transaction. So all we're hearing right now is communication, communication, communication with the client. And if I've already communicated them something through a text or a phone call, I'm also putting it in the checklist, and that's sending them a daily email of every task that's been completed throughout the transaction. And
So
we
let
have,
me just, I just want to focus on that a little bit. So
yep.
in opportunities,
Mhm.
which you got, like, I know Trent uses opportunities a lot. He uses cultivate phase a lot. That's basically his lead generation. Like, he'll go into opportunities and into cultivate and see who he needs to reach out to that day. But as someone's in a transaction, you create those task lists, and as you check them off, you have the option to have the system send them an automated email that updates them on the tasks that you've completed that day to sell their house, right?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, cool. No, I thought you might, I thought there would be a little bit more of an answer where you're like, yep, that's what we do.
Nope. And you can control it, right? So whether that email is coming from me, who I focus more on the operations
Yeah.
between the two of us, or I have ours all set up to be sent like it's Trent. So you could set it up if you're a team, so it looks like that agent is the one, and it just says, hey, the transaction, if it's a listing, it will pull the photos of the listing, and that's the background of the checklist, which is pretty cool. And it says, we've been checking things off the list. Here's what we've completed. And a lot of our clients are like, you guys communicate too much. Like, that's amazing. Like, I knew everything and I felt like you were educating me throughout the process. And that's our goal. We want to create that experience for them.
So would you say that one of the main benefits of Command is the ability to communicate in a much more frequent and detailed way, so you're basically answering the questions of your clients before they even ask you?
Absolutely. Yep. And it's free.
Oh, well, yeah. So that works. All right. So you guys are really sphere of influence centric. We covered this a little bit, but like, how are you specifically keeping in touch? Like, are you guys, like, do you go in? I know Trent goes into opportunities, but do you go through and choose a tag each day? Do you create lists? Do you have smart plans? Like, what does your touch system look like?
Yeah, he follows the DTD2 method. But other than that, I'm also pulling just generic lists. Like I had mentioned, this summer, there was a lot going on within our communities with fireworks, with 4th of July, family-friendly activities, and now again in the fall. So we're able to pull certain lists. You guys talked about senior relocation services. So who in your database are you tagging that is maybe a legacy contact, meaning they have a real estate profile of investment properties that they will probably likely pass on to their family or sell off? And so how can you help them? Well, if you told me about this real estate planner community, and I'm already forward thinking, crap, we don't have a tag for that. We need to create a tag so I can easily pull a list of who's in our database that would fit that profile and who should we be talking to.
Cool. I love that. So I just want to wrap up with this question. So you guys have a really specific post-close model or strategy. Can you explain what that looks like?
Yeah, so we have a smart plan for post-close. We actually have two, one for buyers and one for sellers, because just the verbiage is a little bit different for if you're a buyer or if you're a seller. And we have a tag that initiates that smart plan. So it's called post Zold or Zold for a buyer.
Wait,
And that,
real quick. So you say initiate. So like in Command, when you create a smart plan, you can give it a trigger, and the
yep.
trigger is a tag. So when somebody closes, you tag that person accordingly, and then that smart plan automatically deploys.
Exactly.
Got it.
So if you are speaking to a rainmaker and you bring this up to their operations department, they will be blown away because all they literally need to do is tag the contact. What's also super cool about this is if there is a couple or maybe there's 4 people involved in the transaction, you can do it for each contact. It's not just the opportunity that you're tagging the individual contact so that they can go ahead and leave you a review if that's part of your smart plan. Or whatever you have in there, it goes to each contact and opportunity.
I love it. Does anybody have any questions for Karissa or comments?
This was helpful. Thank you. I appreciate hearing it from your perspective and implementing these things at a really high level. We have these conversations every day, but when you're using them to the level that you are, it allows us to have more purposeful conversations. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Hey,
I would say the one thing that happened in our market center too is we will talk to agents about command versus our team leader or someone else on the leadership staff talking about it to them. And that's been really helpful because I think we have ran in command with a small team, and the limiting belief in our market center personally has been, well, command doesn't work for teams. Command doesn't work for teams. I'm like, well, we have a small team and we only use command.